what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this episode, we're going to be replacing the brake rotors and brake pads on this Chevy HHR. So using your 19mm, we're going to go ahead and remove the hubcap and then remove the steel lugs. Now with the wheel off, we can go ahead and remove the rotor and brake caliper bracket with caliper, all from this. So we're gonna go ahead and do that now. There's 2 bolts on the back holding the bracket on and 2 bolts on the caliper holding that on. After that's removed, we can go ahead and then just slide off the rotor from the hub. So let's go ahead and find out what sizes those are and take that off. All right, so the 2 caliper bolts right here are gonna be 14mm. And the caliper bracket bolts, which are back and behind here, I believe this one right here, and one down below right there, are going to be 15mm. So let's go ahead and remove those. Now with the brake caliper bracket and caliper off and the caliper being hung so that way the hose is not being stretched, you can go ahead and remove the rotor by just pulling it out. Our rotor is very simple as it just comes straight off, but not all rotors are like that. Some rotors take a hammer to beat off of this. So, but you're gonna be replacing the rotor anyway, so whack away, and so hopefully it comes off. All right, so to do this job, we went ahead and got the premium brake rotors, pads, and kit from Detroit Axle. This is just the normal brake rotors. This is 2 in a kit. Looks like that, all sealed up. It comes with a set of ceramic brake pads over there. Very, very nice set. Also comes with the slides. You'll also get a can of brake clean, so that way you can clean off your rotors before putting them on. And then they give you a little bit of brake fluid, so that way you can kind of top off your system if you need to. Don't know if we'll actually need to use that, but it's always great to have some laying around. So first thing we're going to do is take out the rotor. We're going to spray the cleaner on it, get off all that oil, and then we'll go ahead and throw it on the vehicle. So let's go ahead and do that. You can go ahead and pick up all this on my Amazon store right in the link below. I'll have the link to the full kit, also 2 separate rotors, brake pads, etc. So go ahead and click the link down below and pick it up off my store. But let's go ahead and take this brake clean now and clean off these rotors. Now with the rotor clean, we can go ahead and throw a little bit of anti-seize on the hub here. As you can see, we have a brand new hub. This hub was replaced in a different video on my channel. You can go ahead and click that on the link above. We just throw a little bit of anti-seize on here to make it so the next person that has to do this won't have a hard time getting that rotor off. So we'll go ahead and install that rotor now. And there we go. We can go ahead and now work on the caliper bracket and caliper to put the new brake pads and shims in. All right, now with the caliper bracket, we're gonna go ahead and install the shims first. So this is the shim. We got 4 of those. They're all the same. So you're just gonna go ahead and slide it back into the spot where the old shim was. Very, very simple. They just kind of snap in there. All right, now with the shims in, we can go ahead and use our brake lube. Now the kit does come with some, but I like using this Permatech stuff since we have it. So we're just gonna go ahead and lube this up a little bit. Just because it slides. All right, so now we got the brake pads loaded into the brake pad caliper. Kind of a pain, I'm not gonna lie, but it saves a little bit of time by putting them in now. Now we're gonna go ahead and just bolt this onto the knuckle. All right, now that we got the caliper bracket on, just squeeze those brake pads in a little bit. Next thing we're gonna need to do is focus on the caliper because the caliper piston needs to come squeezing in. A few ways of doing it. I'll show you the kind of easy way of doing it that I like to do it, that my dad showed me. So let's go ahead and switch over to that. So there's a couple different methods on doing this. So there is the actual tool that goes in here and you screw it in and it will push this piston back in. A lot of people like to leave this on, and when they're removing the rotor or the brake pads, they just take a screwdriver in there and they bend this towards it and it pushes it in. I like to use a set of vice grips, the wide mouth ones. They just fit in there like that, and you can just kind of squeeze them in, slowly push it back in a little at a time. Doesn't hurt anything, very easy to do. And there we go, now it's all bottomed out. Now we can go ahead and slide the caliper back on to the vehicle. But first, we need to pull out these pins here, because these pins need to be lubed up before going back together. These look pretty good overall, but there's two of them, and you just want to throw a little bit of that brake lube onto them. Just a little bit, doesn't take much. Slide it back in. Make sure once you slide it back in, you hear the little push of air, so that way it reconnects. Do the bottom one. And then reinsert it back in there. All right, now we can take the caliper and then slide it back in here and line up the bolts for the pins, and then tighten these on down. And go ahead and tighten this on down.
Don't forget to
All right, all the bolts are now back in there. As you can tell, this is a little loose and the rotor slides in and out. The first time starting it up, make sure you get in there, pump the brakes a few times to make sure that the piston comes out a little bit, so that way it's in the correct position for when you start moving the vehicle, you actually have brakes. So let's go ahead and now throw back on the wheel and lower the vehicle and call it good. All right, and then we'll lower the vehicle, torque them, and then we'll go ahead and throw the hubcap on. All right, now with the wheel torqued down, I just did that. We're gonna go ahead and put on the hubcap. There we go. All right, well, there you go. The brakes and rotors are all complete. Everything should be working perfectly. Again, don't forget to push on the brake pedal before moving off to actually hop on the road. Make sure you can actually stop and it's fully pumped up. If you need any of the parts that we used on the video today, click the links down in the description below. If you found this video helpful, click the like button, subscribe to my channel. But until next time, thanks for watching.